Kingsman the Secret Service is directed by Matthew Vaughn and stars Colin Firth, Samuel L. Jackson, and Michael Caine, and also there's Mark Hamill in there somewhere in a few scenes. This is about this kid whose father was a former spy for this group called the Kingsman Agency. They're basically British spies that are like, you know, they call themselves the New Knights or whatever. And now his son, a new king, is going to be recruited by the Kingsmen, and Colin Firth's character takes him there, and now he's training up to become a Kingsman and take on whatever evil is out there in the world, while Samuel L. Jackson is the villain in this movie, and he's trying to do some villainous stuff because it's a spy movie, and you know, it's probably obviously some world taking over ending thing that you can probably predict. But I really, really loved this movie. This movie is awesome. Like, I'll say this, everyone is really good. I don't know the guy who played the main character, but he was pretty good. I liked him a lot. You know, Colin Firth was really awesome. He kicked so much ass in this movie. It was awesome. And Samuel L. Jackson, just, wow, he was great in this movie, too. Like, I love him. Like, he's like this villain, but he knows he's the villain, and he's all awesome with it. He's sarcastic, and he also has a lisp for some reason. But you know what? It was funny. And, you know, whenever Samuel L. Jackson was on screen, I liked it. It was really cool, I have to say. And, you know, Michael Caine is pretty good, and Mark Hamill, from the few scenes he's in, he's pretty cool. You know, nice little come to film before Star Wars Episode 7 this December. Cool to see him. He was Luke Skywalker, and yeah, awesome to see him here. And I gotta say, the action in this movie is awesome. Like, it's some of the best filmed action ever. Like, it's really good. Like, it's so fluid and all well choreographed and stuff. It's just awesome. Like, when you see people kicking butt and firing guns at each other and stabbing, it's awesome. The only problem with it is it gets really gory a lot. Like, it's really violent, this movie, and sometimes it goes way too far to the point where I just looked away from the screen. I was like, ugh, why would you do that? Ugh. But you know, I really didn't do that much. It was still pretty cool what was on screen. And you know, this movie was pretty funny at times. Like, I really liked the humor. Like, mainly Colin Firth's character, like, he knows he's very sophisticated. He's a spy, he's a gentleman, and you know, whatever happens to him, he's awesome in this movie. Everyone is really cool in this movie, and I love seeing the guy train, all the Kingsmen people who are training. I love seeing the tasks, even though they're really deadly tasks. Like, at one time they flood their bedroom at night to see if they can get out, and that was a pretty intense scene. And also the scene where they're skydiving and someone's parachute doesn't work. That was pretty cool too. And like the final scenes where they're infiltrating Samuel L. Jackson's lair and trying to take him down, that was pretty sweet. And I really, really liked that. You know, it's really hard to see an action movie that's this good. Like, you know, it takes inspiration from old Bond films. You know, I haven't really seen any Bond film. I know it does that. And I know it references, like, some parts where you think this is going to happen, but it laughs at that cliche. Like, it directly laughs at that cliche and does something else. And it was pretty cool when those moments happened. And, like, because some of the characters admit they like James Bond movies and stuff, and they're like, we could make this movie go in this direction, but we're going to make it go in another, because British accents also takes place in London. And it was pretty cool. I got to say, there was really not a whole lot about this movie that I didn't like. Like, the action was just awesome. Like, when it was on screen going out, it's like, this is awesome. I was like that. And that was really cool. The only problem I have is that it gets kind of gory at times, but honestly, you know, I can forgive it for that, because, you know, it doesn't do it that often, even if it is pretty violent. It was such an awesome time, this movie. It really, really worked. I liked all the characters. I liked Samuel L. Jackson as the villain. It was such good action, so well shot, likable characters, and the soundtrack was awesome. The soundtrack, like, just wow, it fit everything perfectly. There's so little about this movie I didn't like. You know, I can excuse the violence and stuff, because it was really well, and it lent itself really good in this. And, you know, one scene did kind of go a little too far with that. It's like around the middle. I'm not going to say what it has, but it felt a little disrespectful in a few areas to something. That's like, but even then, it was still really well filmed action and stuff, so I don't really have a problem. Like, people who saw this movie know what it is. But, you know, I don't really care. This movie was awesome, and I loved it. And Kingsman the Secret Service gets 95%. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Excellent movie. and it was one of the best of this year, definitely. It'll be on my best of the year list, which I want to see if I can make with my friends. I don't know. Whatever. The point is, great movie, and adios, home slices. Abrupt outros are abrupt. Oh yeah!